Hi, Sarah. Welcome to the Brag. It's really good to have you here.
Hi, Leah. Thank you so much for the invite.
You're welcome. We're finally making it happen. I know we had a couple of takes, so here we are. All right. I'm just going to go into question one. So, Sarah, you went from film production in Berlin to winning Ireland's Startup Visionary Award and the Silver Award for Small Business of the Year. The judges said that you exemplify visionary leadership driving impactful change towards a circular economy. So tell me, what was that light bulb moment when you knew Share Club could really change everything?
Okay. I'm from Germany, so I was
Yeah.
working in film production before in Berlin, but then also in Dublin. So that's like also like a very creative, like very kind of like
Yeah.
busy world. And but I was always like very passionate, I think, about like solving environmental problems, like even like as a child. And then um yeah, and also like just living like a kind of low waste lifestyle. I was like always like trying to do that, like basically in my personal life.
Yeah.
And also like having grown up in Germany, a lot of like the systems and structures, it was like a lot more like kind of like part of everyday life. Like, so for example, we've had like, the kind of bottle can deposit
Yes.
return scheme that was like only now introduced in Ireland. We've had that since like a few decades.
Mm.
So like it's kind of like I basically sort of grew up with it, and then when I moved to Ireland, I think it was like quite a big contrast in terms of like
Yes.
the solutions are like not as developed basically as I was like used to from Germany. And I think I just saw like, so for example,
Yeah.
at events, there were like loads of like single use items, like single use cups, used loads of like waste. And and even like it's just a lot more like visible also everywhere. So I just thought, I mean, to be honest, like at the beginning, I also had like lots of different ideas in
Yeah.
different areas, but I just thought there's like a big opportunities here to
Mm.
kind of like solve some of these issues because there weren't really like great solutions yet.
Yes.
And so, but I just thought like the single use, like cups and all the like single use items, like I did a bit of research and I just, it's just like such a big issue, yeah, so basically I just thought like that would be like a good one to try and solve. And so like one of my like films that I was like working on like ended, and then
Yeah.
the project, and then I just kind of like basically did research on it and managed to get like funding from the
Amazing.
Environmental Protection Agency
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
to do this research. And yeah, and basically just kind of like dived in and just like
Yeah. Yeah.
started to develop it like from scratch. And just thought, okay, I'll just give it a try, basically.
Let's do it. But that's what it's
Yeah.
all about, right? That's what entrepreneurship is all about. It's spotting opportunities. It's mixing that with something that's always been clearly a passion of yours, and then just doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Um, so you're literally sitting across from government, ministers talking policy, and now you're turning that influence into action with with the reuse pilots with councils, including the upcoming Greystones Cup pilot with Wicklow County Council. What is it like moving from those policy conversations with Minister Alan Dillon straight into implementing real solutions on the ground?
Yeah, so last year, like had the privilege to meet the
Yeah.
minister, Alan Dillon. He's the Minister of State, but also has the special responsibility
Okay.
for circular economy.
Yeah.
And was able to meet him through Circulaire, which is Ireland's circular innovation network. And I mean, it was, I'm very like grateful, like even being part of the network at Circular and having like these kind of opportunities. Because also for us, like trying to, you know, kind of create change in the system, it's like really, you know, important to being able to like connect and then also like speak with like policy makers. And, because we are kind of like on the ground, you know, trying to like build something and then, but they also have like this like decision-making power because, I think that like the issues is really like, I mean, one of the biggest challenges for us is that a lot of businesses or a lot of people, I think they want to do the right thing, but it's, still a lot easier to go for like the easiest option, you know. So for example, when you're talking about like reusable and single use items are just so cheap and so kind of convenient. So it's kind of hard to compete, you know. And that's why I think it's also very important to have like government, you know, creating like incentives or like procurement mandates, to really like create incentives as well for like people and for businesses, to choose more like the kind of like low waste or like more like circular solutions. I mean, I think this can be done by like, so for example, I know that in Germany, there are like different laws. So for example, the hospitality businesses, they have to offer like reusable options, you know, and, so it's kind of like you go into the cafe. So it's like, okay, you get the coffee in the reusable cup, but if you want it in a single use cup, you have to pay for the single use, you know? And but also I think the government has like the power to change things through like green public procurement mandates. And then I mean there could be like, you know, they've been talking about introducing like this latte levy for ages, but it hasn't happened yet, like charges on single use basically. And I mean we know that this is like effective basically, so so I guess it's like great to be, you know, in the room with like kind of decision makers like that. And then we are also working a lot with like local authorities and with councils. So we worked with, for example, a lot of the councils in the southern waste regions. They're doing like these kind of like community cups for events. So it's like basically for non-profit events where, and they are using our cups for it. And then it's actually next week that we're launching a pilot in Greystones with Wicklow County Council.
Next week.
Yeah, so it's about to launch, and it's going to be a pilot with like the cafes there and the sports clubs and the county council canteen. And they're using our reusable cups, like replacing the single use with reusables. And so we've been working very closely like with the, you know, with the local like council, but also with the tidy towns. And like environmental initiatives to like develop this, and then we also like help them with measuring their impact with you know, so that they can kind of like see return rates, waste reduction, and so I think like I mean looking forward to it, and we'll see how it's gonna go.
Oh, it's amazing. And I love that you guys add that extra piece in terms of the backing it up with the data to show the impact. I think that makes it even more impactful. But just to get more brags in there for you, because you make it sound so easy, but like we know that startups don't have the luxury of time. But when you're working with obviously governments and policy and whatnot, everything takes 10 times longer, right? So it's I'd say it's quite a juggling act from that perspective.
Yes, definitely. I mean, the thing is that like working with these like local authorities, at least they kind of have these like green procurement mandates, so they kind of like there's like more incentive to really choose something, and to really like also make a change. But you're right, it doesn't. It's sometimes like challenging because it's so different from like the way that startups work in terms of like, there's like a lot of bureaucracy and a lot of
Yes.
kind of like slow pace. But I mean, in general, like it's really been great, like, to
Amazing.
work and to work with these like councils, and I think also like to see really their like engagement and their, I mean, they are really, kind of like the champions that want to do something
Yes.
different as well, so that's really obviously great to see. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, incredible. I think people are ready for it, right? They're realizing how wasteful a lot of processes are and whatnot. But that's also what creates so much opportunity within Ireland, right? Because I even remember when I was a kid, like there were no such thing as like big roads. The infrastructure was like at such a different level. So it's really exploded within the last kind of 20, 25 years.
Definitely. I mean, I used to, I went to school in Ireland when I was like kind of 16, and I remember it being very different. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I have memories of getting lost going to the kind of local airport in Cork because someone had turned the sign the wrong way. Oh, it's funny. Pure country.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so Circular Accelerator, Awaken Hub sponsored membership, speaking at major conferences. You're not just running a business, you're leading Ireland's circular economy movement. And now you're developing an RFID enabled solution for workplaces and campuses to make borrowing impact tracking even easier for private sector clients. How does it feel being at the center of all of this innovation?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, like being a startup founder is like an absolute kind of like roller coaster. Like, and like usually I'm always like very kind of focused on just kind of like solving problems. And so often like, it's even like difficult to even like have the time to sort of like reflect on the wins, because there's always like the next thing and like, but yeah, so I think, I mean, maybe it's also kind of like a female thing, not, but like, I mean, I am proud of like everything, that we've like achieved like so far. Yeah. And I mean, it's also like, I mean, it's really been like essential, like all the kind of like support networks. Like I think, especially when you're kind of like a solo founder, I think like,
it's hard.
It's really, I think it's really important to have these kind of networks. So like I mentioned, like Circulaire already, they're obviously very like, they're like the experts on like circular economy, and, and it's really been amazing to have like their support. But then, I think also like the networks like Awaken Hub, Tech Founder, like it's basically like connecting to like different like other like entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs. And I mean, there's so many amazing like women with amazing like ideas basically. And it's really kind of like encouraging because obviously everyone kind of like shares like similar challenges, and but it's been also like just so inspiring, basically, like meeting all these people, and especially if you don't work like in a big company with like lots of different colleagues, I mean, we even did like a kind of Christmas party just with like lots of different kind of like founders, like sustainability founders, because we're like, okay, we don't have like a big, kind of company Christmas party, so we'll just do kind of like our own.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and then in terms of the RFID, so we are also so I think like basically with like big, places like that have like a big canteen, like campuses, workplaces, the solution I think really has to be like just as easy as like the disposable cup, So that's why we're also offering this technology-driven RFID solution where it's basically there's like it's removing like friction entirely. Like you don't have to like download an app, or you don't have to like sign up. And so the reusables are just like automatically kind of scanned at the till, like at the checkout. And then on the back end, the organization gets like automatically also the impact data.
Okay.
So, then they can see like how many disposables have been avoided, carbon savings, return rates, like stock rates, and all the metrics basically that they need for like sustainability reporting, for their like communications. So I think for like, high turnover places, like it really like solves this kind of pain point, of really like kind of like encouraging this behavior without like, without making it kind of complicated. And so because it feels then exactly the same, like like getting your coffee in like a disposable cup, basically, So that's kind of like one of the kind of next big things, I guess.
That's cool. So tell me, how does it work? So is it like I go for my coffee and they give it to me in a share club cup, but they scan it before they give it to me, and then
So there's
after
like
they scan-
at the payment at the till there's like a mat, so you need kind of hardware, so it's like an RFID enabled mat, and basically you just have to put the cup on it, and then it adds and then you add, it's kind of like a digital deposit basically, and then you have like, for example, if you have like return bins, you can also have it. So if you chuck the cup into the return bin, then it gets automatically scanned. So it's like very easy, basically, just to scan it. Then, when you return it, then it gets automatically issued the deposit back to the person who borrowed it. But there's like, especially for the people like kind of working at the till, there, all you have to do is kind of like put it on the mat and, put like the coffee and stuff just like as you do like normally in your till. So it's not really like disrupting, the kind of everyday business,
Super
if that
easy.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good, because I mean, otherwise it's just been people having to bring their own reusable cups, right? That's been, I know.
Yeah, I mean, and that's still possible. Of course, that's also an option. But I mean, I think it's always good to have like different options. I mean, that's what we're also doing, for example, in Greystones now. So, like you can drink your coffee in the cafe in like a mug, or you can bring your own. But then for people who didn't, who don't have their own reusable cup, there are like the reusable cups to borrow, basically. So
Super handy. I don't think I would remember mine.
no, same. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good. So you just won 2 major awards in 1 year while presenting your solution alongside government keynote speakers at Ireland's biggest circular economy conference. Talk to me about being recognised as one of the biggest innovation solutions that could transform the country.
Okay, yeah.
I know.
It sounds so amazing. No, I mean, so we launched like in the summer 23 there was like the circular economy hotspot in Dublin, which was like a very big kind of circular economy event. And I mean, it was like amazing because like Dublin City Council basically was kind of like one of our first clients, and they were like so supportive and let us like, basically we had never done anything before, and then we were like there. So like it's really been like very kind of motivating as well to, have this like support as well from the beginning, and, from like partners, and then also getting like different like clients, and then also like, kind of support from like the wider community. And and it obviously also means a lot, to get these like awards to be kind of like recognized. So we got the Startup Visionary Awards at the Diversity in Tech Awards, and then the Silver Award for Small Business of the Year at the All Ireland Sustainability Awards.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, and it is, I mean, yeah, no, it's you, because you always like just work so hard, and
I
and then
know.
it's nice to get a little moment like that as well. But also for the team, for I mean, I just have like a small team, but for them as well, just for everyone, to have to kind of be able to kind of like celebrate, and yeah, so I think, and also like basically, when I'm like presenting the solution, at like events and kind of like panel discussions, I think it just, it just kind of shows me that, I mean, it's all like very hard work, but it does also matter, and it does also,
Absolutely.
I mean, we do contribute basically to the circular economy in Ireland, so it's kind of like, it's not like insignificant. And I think it also shows like everyone, like anyone can really have like a good idea and then also, create change. Like like, I think it's often easy to think like, okay, well, you can't really have an impact, or you can't really change, but like, even with like a small thing, you can also really like contribute to change. I think, yeah.
Definitely. But it's not an easy path, right? And I think a lot of people do try to start, and then for whatever reasons it doesn't continue. So it is a huge achievement. I mean, like, you're nearly 5 years in business, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, like, I guess like 23, we kind of,
Okay.
yeah, summer 23, we kind of started properly. So,
Oh yeah, after the
yeah,
research phase.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Which is a huge win.
yeah,
Amazing.
yeah. No, it's good. And I mean, hopefully we'll see also more, I'm still basically waiting for like more kind of government incentive as well, which would just make it so much easier.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll see what's gonna happen.
I'm hopeful as well. I mean, look, we know the statistics and the numbers out there for female founders getting far less access to funding and investment, and I think that's why we see less impact businesses, because generally women like to start impact driven startups. I mean, I know myself, some of the main reasons why my last two startups failed was due to just running out of money
Yeah,
and
yeah,
not having time anymore, because it just takes a
it
long
is
time,
very
right?
hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it's hard to get to this point where you also, where you can kind of like sustain, where you get like regular kind of income, where you're able to like pay like all the expenses that comes with like running a business. It's not easy, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So it's an amazing achievement, and you have a team, which is also incredible. It's a huge win in an impact-driven business. So yeah, huge brags there, Sarah. Really cool. And can you believe we're already coming up to the last question? It just flew through. So the judges praised your dedication to mentoring the next generation of women entrepreneurs. You're building a legacy here, from council pilots to RFID technology, from mentoring to policy influence. Paint me a picture of what's next for Sarah and Share Club.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like the next thing now is like this pilot, what we're doing
Yes.
in Greystones, because I mean, that is quite big because there are quite a lot of businesses involved. So we'll see how that goes. And I mean, yeah, we're also talking to other, councils that have like an interest to do something similar. But also, yeah, I mean, like, honestly, like, we're basically working on, like, the ultimate goal is, like, to just have Share Club really as, like, the kind of go-to solution for, like, workplaces, for canteens, for communities, and, yeah, and then also really, as like we're working as well, like on developing these kind of new technologies just to
Yeah.
make it like as easy as possible and as frictionless as possible. And yeah, just to like, I mean, I can kind of see it in like Germany as well, like how, you know, where people just kind of like, it's more like, you know, sort of like a habit, you know, it's a little bit like similar to when you have like the plastic bags, like people kind of like are now kind of really used to like not taking, or like that there
Yeah,
are
it's
no
true.
plastic bags
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
available. And that was also achieved through
Yeah,
like the plastic bag levy,
yeah,
basically, you know? I mean, it's just a 20-cent plastic bag levy, and it reduced the amount of
yeah.
plastic bags. I mean, even like I remember, you know, like 20 years ago in Ireland, I remember there were so many plastic bags as well, like in the
Yeah, it's
trees.
true.
And I do
It's
remember that.
true.
I was
Yes.
always like, that was like one thing I noticed. Oh my God, why are there so many? But I think it's just because it's windy, and then they're like, you know, but they obviously also end up in the sea and everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
And the same with like all these other like single-use items, you know. I think also, I mean, I know that not everyone is a fan of this like bottle return scheme, but it has reduced the litter like
Yes. Oh yeah.
massively, you
Yeah.
know. So, yeah, so
Completely.
I think, I mean, in general, I guess the Ireland, I think it's really evolving, but I think we're
Mm.
seeing like a lot of change. Think we're seeing a lot of, you know, also dedication from like different areas, from like government and policy as well. And so, and I think also there's really like a lot of businesses really like wanting to do, you know, like they do have sustainability
Yeah, yeah.
agendas. And yeah, so I guess, you know, we're like, yeah, looking forward to being part of that and seeing like
That's
how it's
cool.
gonna
Already
develop.
being part of it.
Yeah.
For sure. And we have like there's a huge coffee culture in Ireland, right?
Yes, it's massive.
It's
Yeah.
totally like I remember even again like 20 years ago, my parents trying to get a good cup of coffee. Because my
Yeah.
mom is originally Irish, but from the US, and my dad is from Germany. So the two of them came from like places where you could get good cup of coffee, and then that just wasn't possible. But
Yeah.
now it's incredible. Like you just, it's just absolutely exploded, even within
It's
smaller towns.
yes, like so I mean, I know it's like there's so many coffee roasters as well, like in Ireland. And then I think it's like I think Dublin has like the, you know, the biggest amount of like coffee shops in like compared to like lots of other cities. And yeah, it's really like it's interesting how things like that can develop so
Oh yeah,
quickly.
oh yeah, huge. Because I'm in France now, and it's yes, in large cities you get a lot of coffee shops, but in the smaller cities, smaller towns, it's not really a big thing. So
Yeah.
it's quite interesting to come from Ireland and then come here and
Yeah.
ask for a latte, and they're like
What
giving you
is
some.
that?
Yeah. But it's so important. Oh my God! Like I'm a bit of a stickler for this, with trying to be more conscious of how I consume, because everything across the board is just it's so shocking when you look at the waste, from
Yeah.
from our food to our clothing to so many aspects of our consumerism. So I think it's incredible what you're doing, and so
Thanks.
important.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so
It's not,
I gotta get
yeah.
some bragging in there now for you. I know it's not always comfortable when we're not used to it, right? And we're like stuck in the weeds.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I think it's just incredible that you just were like, I'm passionate about this. I've always been passionate about this in my life. I see a big opportunity. I'm just going to make it happen. And I think especially, working within something where you are trying to change people's habits is not always easy, and it does take a long time. So I think it's really cool that you're juggling that so well in terms of keeping a startup alive, keeping it
Yeah.
going, but then at
Um,
the same time just building these incredible relationships with the county councils and communities and whatnot, and seeing that they're obviously up for change, and you're making it making it happen. And then not to mention all the awards, and that you have a small team that you're managing, and that you're also doing all of this being a solopreneur, which is not easy in itself. So yeah, just, you know, just to get that bit of
Thank
bragging
you.
in there for you.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. I mean, I know, yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm just like, I just think I'm like a bit crazy and I'm like, why the hell am I doing this? This is just, but you know, yeah, but thanks. It's, yeah, it's like I never do this kind of, you know, like reflecting really back on, okay, you know, and I think it's really important. So yeah.
But it is so important. But it's also like, I think when you know, I remember hearing so many entrepreneurs talking about like, oh, you have to find something that you're really passionate about because that's super important. And I get that there's some entrepreneurs out there that are like, you know what, I want to make money. That's my main goal. It's
Yeah.
like, that's absolutely fine. But I think that when you do find something that really is impactful and it's aligned with what you just absolutely love, it doesn't always feel like work, right? So I think
Yeah,
that's what
that's true.
keeps you
Exactly.
going.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I just like I'm just someone like I just think like with what you do or like what you work as like I would never be able to do something which is just kind of like, you know, a job to get like money. I think I would always have to do something that like aligns with my values and where I feel like I'm basically contributing to, you know, like the world and the society.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not gonna get rich, but you know, it's just like a bit, it's just more important to me. But you know, like each, like I mean, I also totally respect if people you know want,
Oh
you know,
yeah,
have like different, like it's,
totally.
and I mean, sometimes I'm also envy them. I'm like, oh, I should do this, you know, but I don't know. I just could. I
Oh,
think you just spend too much time as well, like on like, you know, when you're like working somewhere and it just has to be something where I enjoy it and where I feel like I'm doing something like meaningful.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm the same. I mean, I've tried being an employee over the years, and it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I'm just not employee material. I put everything in way too much, and then burn out, and then mess up, and then people are like, "What are you doing?" So it's better when you can do your own thing, right? From that perspective. But
Definitely, yeah.
thank you so much, Sarah, for coming on and being a guest on the Brag. Really, really means a lot, and just great to hear about all the amazing work that you and your team are doing at Share Club, and just really, really excited for the future and what's next.
Well, thank you so much. It was really great to talk to you. Thank you.
Okay.